shadow of one of the most significant conflicts of our time, a historian's predictions about the outcome of Russia's war in Ukraine have sent shockwaves through the world. We will explore these predictions, the historical context, and the potential implications for the ongoing crisis. To understand how Russia's war in Ukraine might end, we must first delve into the historical context. The roots of this conflict trace back to the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, when Ukraine gained its independence. The situation escalated in 2014 when Russia annexed Crimea, leading to an ongoing war in eastern Ukraine. This complex history sets the stage for the predictions we are about to discuss. Enter Dr. Elena Petrov, a renowned historian and geopolitical analyst. Dr. Petrov's shocking predictions have garnered global attention. She believes that the war in Ukraine will ultimately come to an end through diplomatic means, not without significant concessions and changes on both sides. Dr. Petrov's predictions are grounded in historical precedents. She draws parallels with the Cuban Missile Crisis and the Cold War era, when superpowers narrowly avoided all-out conflict through diplomacy. She believes that a similar scenario could play out in Ukraine, with international mediators facilitating negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. According to Dr. Petrov, several key factors will influence the outcome. First, international pressure will be pivotal. The United Nations, European Union, and other global powers will need to exert diplomatic and economic pressure on Russia to encourage a peaceful resolution. Ukrainian resistance will also be a determining factor. Dr. Petrov argues that as long as Ukrainians maintain their determination and unity, they will have a stronger position in negotiations. She points to historical examples of small nations standing firm in the face of adversity. Dr. Petrov emphasizes that both Russia and Ukraine will need to make significant compromises. Specifics may include demilitarization, a clear path to Ukrainian NATO membership, and autonomy for regions in eastern Ukraine. These compromises will be difficult, but essential for a peaceful resolution. The implications of Dr. Petrov's predictions are profound. A peaceful resolution to the war in Ukraine would not only spare countless lives, but could also set a precedent for resolving other global conflicts through diplomacy. There is hope that history will not repeat itself in the form of devastating wars. International mediation will play a pivotal role in Dr. Petrov's predictions. She believes that a neutral third party, possibly the United Nations or a coalition of countries, will facilitate the negotiation process. Their role will be to ensure that both Russia and Ukraine have an equal voice at the table, to build trust between the conflicting parties. Dr. Petrov also emphasizes the humanitarian aspect of the conflict's resolution. She predicts that as negotiations progress, there will be a focus on providing aid and support to the millions of people affected by the war. This not only includes those who have been displaced, but also the community struggling to rebuild. The economic consequences of the conflict are another significant consideration in Dr. Petrov's predictions. She believes that economic incentives, such as trade agreements and investment, will be used as leverage to encourage cooperation. Economic stability, she argues, is essential for any lasting peace in the region. Dr. Petrov's predictions underscore the critical role of the international community. She argues that it is not just Russia and Ukraine who have a stake in the war's outcome, but the entire world. The conflict has strained international relations. Resolving it will require a unified effort from countries worldwide. Public opinion and activism also come into play. Dr. Petrov believes that global awareness and advocacy for a peaceful resolution put additional pressure on governments to work towards ending the war. In an age of social media and instant communication, public voices can make a significant impact. Ultimately, Dr. Petrov's predictions are not just about ending the war, but also about a path to reconciliation. She envisions a future where Russia and Ukraine, while acknowledging their differences, can coexist peacefully. This path will undoubtedly be challenging, but history has shown that reconciliation is possible, even in the wake of deeply divisive conflicts. While Dr. Petrov's predictions may be shocking, they offer a glimmer of hope for those yearning for an end to the suffering in Ukraine. As the world watches, the future remains uncertain. history has shown that even the most intractable conflicts can find resolution through dialogue and diplomacy. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of the historian's predictions about the end of Russia's war in Ukraine. As we navigate these uncertain times, history reminds us that the path to peace is often paved with compromise and a commitment to avoid repeating the mistakes of the past. It's a single moment of our riveting historical explorations right here on Global History Channel.